The Pittsburgh Steelers have been incredibly active this offseason, making headlines with major acquisitions like DK Metcalf, Jalen Ramsey, and even quarterback Aaron Rodgers. However, despite these bold moves by GM Omar, a looming decision regarding superstar TJ Watt's future is casting a long shadow over the team's summer, potentially leaving the Steelers in a truly difficult position. Watt, who recently turned 30, is entering the final year of his 4-year, $112 million contract. Understandably, he's seeking a massive extension, reportedly pushing for a deal worth over $200 million, which would make him the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history. However, the Steelers, at least for now, are reportedly unwilling to meet his hefty asking price. This puts the organization in a precarious spot. Either pay him a top-market deal or trade him to prevent him from walking away in free agency next offseason for nothing. While trading him sounds like a sensible option in theory, NFL Network's Tom Pelissero recently revealed a harsh reality about Watt's current trade value. Pelissero indicated that the return for a player of Watt's caliber would be surprisingly minuscule. He pointed to the situation earlier this offseason when the Bengals were shopping Trey Hendrickson, a player who led the league in sacks last year, and were asking for a first-round pick but weren't being offered one. For Watt, a trade would likely only yield a 2026 NFL draft pick. And at best, it would be a day 2 selection. This is a truly underwhelming return for one of the best defensive players in the entire NFL. This forces the Steelers into an incredibly uncomfortable decision with 3 realistic paths, none of which are ideal. The first, simply dragging out negotiations in hopes Watt lowers his price, is highly unlikely to work and would only alienate a cornerstone player. This leaves them with 2 more viable, yet still challenging, options. Give in and pay Watt his asking price. This would make him the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history. While Watt is incredibly impactful when healthy, he's 30 years old and had a less dominant second half of the 2024 campaign. Committing such a massive amount to a player over 30 carries significant risk in a salary-capped league. Trade Watt for an underwhelming return, as Pelissero highlighted. The best-case scenario appears to be a 2026 second-round pick. Teams are simply unwilling to part with a first-round pick and then also pay Watt the massive extension he desires. While it would ensure the Steelers get something for him, it's a far cry from the value many would expect for a player of Watt's talent. Regardless of the path the Steelers choose, they're in a really tough spot. They either significantly overpay for an aging, albeit elite, star, trade him for a laughably low return, or risk losing him for nothing next year. Considering the Steelers are unlikely to contend for a Super Bowl this season, even with Watt, getting some draft capital, no matter how underwhelming, might be their least bad option. It's clear that GM Omar is facing one of the most challenging decisions of his tenure.